Mariners spring training game one. Michael Arroyo broke out. Cooper Criswell looked like a lock for opening day, and we're so back. Welcome to the Dom Skiing Channel, your one-stop shop for the Mariners storylines on Seattle's minds. And we're doing a stream to kick off our game recap series of 2026. Spring training game one in the books officially as of a couple minutes ago. We're going to break down things the way that we did last year, if you were here with me for any portion of that. And if you haven't been, Jack, shout out to you. We're back, baby. Absolutely. You already know. And basically, I want to look over kind of the data from what happened today, discuss some of the moments from what happened today, and anything that might have played a role as to going forward. One important thing, disclaimer, right? Spring training. We don't want to read too far into this. The season's not decided. Nothing is a quote unquote lock. I might have said, Cooper Criswell is a lock. Michael Arroyo breaks out. It is one spring training game, so you take it all with a massive grain of salt. But you kind of look at what's going on, and you've got, a whole lot of guys getting to the game, right? That's what you're used to with spring training. You're trying stuff out. It's like preseason. So what's more important is not what the results were, but what can we take from this moving forward, and even the stuff moving forward, right? What looks like a change that might play a role once we get to opening day, and what looks like something that happened in spring training that we don't need to look too deep into. So, beginning with Michael Arroyo, broke out today. He had how many hard hits? 2 hard hits. 2 for 2 with a homer and a double. So, a really great start to spring training. Doesn't mean he's going to make the opening day roster. I said in the pregame earlier, that's kind of the question, the biggest question. When is Michael Arroyo getting to the majors? I don't think that this changes it. It's just a great sign, especially since as Mariners fans, right, most of us, we've watched the Mariners last season. We see second base be covered by whoever can win us ball games there last year. You had Jorge Polanco fill in. You had Cole Young do really well in the middle of the year. However, if Michael Arroyo is part of the calculus to winning in 2026, he'll be up. That's the question, though. How much of a role is he going to play? And he looks good. Put some good swings on some balls. His Oppo Taco, the first runs the Mariners are going to score in 2026. Looking at that, going back to, I put out a tweet too. Follow me on Twitter if you want to see like some live tweeting of the games. And going back to it, yeah, the Michael Arroyo type train has officially left the station. Opposite field, 2-run bomb for the Mariners' first runs of 2026. 406 feet, 102.4 miles an hour. That's a homer in 28 out of 30 ballparks. Big league power with a heavy contact approach. That'll play, right? And then he doubles later in the game. The hype train has definitely left the station. He also had a pretty good play on defense, I think. You can see some of the videos of this stuff. If you look on Twitter, just search Michael Arroyo. You'll see videos from Brady Farkas, Ryan Divish, Adam Jude, guys like that who are at the game, and other, not just media members, but fans who are at the game. They'll be posting videos of what happens in the ballpark, and you'll be able to see, get an idea, even if you didn't end up watching the game live, or, go on MLB TV to watch the reruns. But yeah, let me know what you guys make of Michael Arroyo today. In my opinion, it's great to see. It's not something that's going to have a huge long-term effect. If he hits 400 all of spring training, it changes it definitely makes you think, okay, this guy's going to be up at some point in the next, in the first half of the season. But why would that happen, right? You've got Ryan Bliss also, who didn't play today, but he plays second base. He's not even healthy yet, so he might not even be part of the math until the second half of the season. When he's playing well, though, he is a guy who his kind of clock is ticking on having a major league career, so they'll want to make that happen too. Michael Arroyo the one thing I was surprised by, I don't know about you guys, but I was surprised. I think he has a lot more beef than I realized. Also, let me know if we're having trouble with the stream health. I know I'm looking like I'm a little laggy. Anyway, and I want to go ahead and share this thing on Twitter so that just in case people are missing the Mariners post games, which we didn't have today, right? The game ends, and within 30 seconds, you know, MLB thanks you for watching. Stream's over. If I'm gonna type this real quick. If you're missing Mariners post games, come hang out. And let's see. All right. But yeah, as far as Michael Arroyo, you know, give me some questions down in the comments. Stuff you saw, stuff you were wondering what my opinion was. I will be responding to the chat if we get anything in there. All right. Now, we go on to kind of the next thing. You know, Michael Arroyo obviously did everything you could possibly ask of him and more. You don't even expect him to be a big power guy. The Howie Kendrick comp, I will touch on that because I mentioned earlier Justin Hollander going out of his way to mention Michael Arroyo at FanFest, and he used that same Howie Kendrick comp, a guy who gonna make some good contact, gonna have some hard hits, and there's definitely, you can see that Howie Kendrick. Shout out to Soto Mojo, the fan-sided website. Their Twitter account put that same thing out. You can really see the Howie Kendrick comp power in his legs. You know, so you could also see him growing into it over time quite a bit. He's not a guy who has, it doesn't look like he has the biggest biceps that you've ever seen. And however, you know, you don't need biceps, you don't need triceps, you know, to be a good hitter. This guy's got the stiff, I mean, not the stiff lower half, but he gets some power in his lower half. Maybe like a tiny step. Oh, I'm going to get copyrighted if I play the sound, so I'm not going to do that. But anyway, yeah, Arroyo, Mariners number 5 prospect, MLB Pipeline number 67 prospect. I promise I'm not farming the meme. Going to pass over it. We're in 2026. But, yeah, so Michael Arroyo, whole lot there. I'm sure we will be talking about Michael Arroyo throughout spring training. The more that he plays well, he doesn't even need to do this. I was expecting a whole lot of singles, you know, just based on what I've heard. But finally getting to see him play, and also getting to see Colt Emerson play. The very next pitch, Colt Emerson goes after it. He uppercuts that thing, almost hits a homer himself, ends up being a fly out on the warning track right next to the wall. But I was encouraged by seeing Chris looks like a confident dude. You know, 2 at-bats, no hits, but very encouraging signs on the eye test there. Leo Rivas with a homer late. It's possible that Leo Rivas is still getting better. I don't think we give that enough thought that, you know, maybe Leo Rivas is just getting better. You know, dude, basically, I mean, he's still improving into a bona fide big leaguer for the Mariners. I think punished that slider almost perfectly that he saw late in the game. 103 miles an hour off the bat, exit velocity wise, 30-degree launch angle, 730 expected batting average. And Alex Hoppe also, I want to talk about Alex Hoppe. Didn't have an awesome day results wise, led in a couple runs, led in the tying homer as well, but he's got quite the arm, plenty of velocity to work with on all 3 of his pitches, the fastball, the slider, and the cutter, I believe. And there's arguably the most interesting thing today. We're gonna get to Cooper Criswell in a second, but before we do, gosh, you guys deserve to grill me in the chat for this. But anyway, Mariners TV pretty good so far. Rick Riz never disappoints. They were cutting it close, getting back from the ads. You know, they just showed I remember they were showing ads like right team's brutal. Padres having all sorts of trouble tracking fly balls. Can anyone at the ballpark confirm? And Adam Jude replied and said, "Yep." So, you know, Adam Jude, you know, got that information from him that the sun was in fact brutal. Maybe that it had an effect on the camera quality too. Definitely. And anyway, Jagger Haynes for the Padres, just to briefly mention him. The scouting report said his slider was impressive. They definitely weren't kidding. Okay, need to change the video resolution. Current resolution is not... Okay. Sorry, I'm going to take a second and try to figure out what's going on with the video resolution. Yeah, the resolution is really not working. Okay, well, I'll fix this stuff a little bit later, definitely for the next stream. And if I can't get this right, I'm probably just going to go back to doing videos for post-game streams, because something I'm doing right now is totally messing up the actual technical aspect of the stream. Anyway, before we get out of here, I want to talk about Cooper Criswell. And on Cooper Criswell's end, oh yeah, also I'm just going to mention, I know this is the worst place to be talking about Julio and whether he's good or not, right after the first spring training game. But I loved Julio's approach. I thought that he was pretty... I got a feeling. And then, Rayleigh didn't get into a long at-bat with his first at-bat. Against a lefty, I don't want to see him get into a long at-bat. It's like find a pitch and swing at it. Cal going after, I think the first pitch for him that he saw as well was a pretty decent sinker. The guys are basically just getting stuff in. And then Raleigh also getting the reps in the ABS challenges early and often. It's good practice. He gets experience with runners on, no outs in the top of the first as the Mariners give away some bases early. And it's my new, here's going to be our motto for spring training: reps over results. Reps over results. To go 1-0 in spring training, which we talk about a lot, reps over results. So it's really just getting the reps in. It's not too much about specific results, side-to-side agility. It would be fun to see him on the Mariners in 2026. He's somebody that I'm definitely going to go try to get on the podcast at some point. In terms of the player interviews, he's not the... I don't remember. I didn't talk to him way too much. He speaks... Yeah, I think that's somebody to look at the rest of spring training. Now, Cooper Criswell, probably the highlight on the pitching side today. The dude just looked really good. Go and look. We're going to do our little breakdown for him. And bear with me for a second. 28 total pitches, 2 swinging strikes, 3 called strikes. Plus the cutter is just more of an interesting idea. Maybe it's not something that he's used to throwing it right now. Cooper Criswell, though, doesn't have, I don't think, an option because the Mets, if you go back to my video about him earlier this offseason, when we got him, the Mets promised Cooper Criswell $800K. I know that we've talked about like Cooper Criswell in the Mariners YouTube space. There's been some talk about Cooper Criswell being the opening day Tacoma starter. I think that people thought he might be a starter because the Red Sox used him that way quite a bit last season. But I don't think the dude is going to be, especially with the Logan Evans news that we had with him, being out for this year. Seemed a little thin on pitching depth, but it looks like Cooper Criswell is going to be a reliever to me. Also, his velocity, 89.4 on the sinker. 89.8 on the sinker, a little bit up, even though he's in spring training. The velocities will be kind of big to watch with him, pretty much in line right now with exactly what he was hitting last year. But if he can pump the velocity up just a little bit, people in the pitching space will tell you, even 1 mile an hour makes so much difference in terms of velocity, in terms of like being effective. I think that if Cooper Criswell somehow can unlock another mile an hour or two, he would be really, really interesting. Right now, he is interesting, and I think the way that the roster construction works and the roster kind of gymnastics, you have to keep him on the opening day roster to keep him. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. And yeah, he went, goes 2 innings, gets 3 strikeouts, a couple whiffs. I think that's really going to do it for what we're going to talk about from the first Cactus League game. If you have any other questions, put them in the chat. I will say the Mariners, they out-hit the Padres 13-8, but only beat them 272 to 237 on expected batting average. I think that there was a little bit of luck, a little bit of the sun helping them out in terms of fielders not being able to get to things. And let's see, how many errors did the Padres have? Can't even see that. Mariners 48.3 hard hit percentage versus 31% for the Padres. Yeah, I'm getting all sorts of notifications about the stream health. Definitely didn't set it up right today. That's part of why it's been so laggy and stuff. But I appreciate you guys for bearing with me for a little bit as we recap this game. Let me know if you liked this stream format, or if you'd prefer just the videos. Might be a little bit cleaner that way. Unless you guys have some questions that you're going to throw in the chat right now for me to answer about this, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I will see you guys tomorrow before we play. Who are we even playing tomorrow? I was thinking so much about the Padres in the first spring training game.